who do you believe built those pyramids?
Wasn't slaves.
I don't know, man. It's when you do the math of it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people say math is as close as you can get to the truth. I don't see how any number of, I mean, it's always depicted in like pictures that it's like 10 slaves dragging this fucking huge stone block that weighs how many metric tons?
See, the Great Pyramids of Giza is estimated to weigh around 6 million tons. It was constructed using 2.3 million large blocks. So
there's just no way. I mean, you can see the depictions of like ramps and slaves like dragging like these rocks. I don't believe it. I mean, even with, modern technology that we have now, I don't see it being done. You know what I mean? Like, and not only that, but I'm sure you saw the ancient aliens episode of, why else would, because there's pyramids all over the world.
Yeah.
Why are they all lined up in a straight line connecting with other pyramids that are around the world? There's just no real way to logically explain that. Like, what, we just get lucky? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're like, just looking at them and having been to, well, I say to Egypt, but I mean, we passed by it. I saw the pyramids and then like the next deployment after I left the ship, my ship actually pulled into Egypt, and seeing the photos that, fellow shipmates took of them, I was like, just seeing the sheer size of them. I don't know how it would, I can't in all, God, I'm blanking on words. I can't in my right mind say that is a man-made structure. There's just no way.
2.5, dude. 2.5 to 15 tons each block. 1 ton is what, 2,000 pounds. So at the minimum, you're looking at what, 5,000 pounds per block. I mean, again, the thing is too, bro, like, was technology different back? I mean, this is back in the day, bro, but could there have been some sort of extraterrestrial technology that they had back then that we don't have now? I mean, there's some theories that, hey, Egypt there was water there. They could have floated them up. I don't know how. But what do you think, Ninja?
Well, there's a thing I saw that said when Cleopatra was alive, her existing is much closer to the iPhone being invented than her being closer to when the pyramids of Giza were built. How fucking mind-blowing is that? And I think they said originally the rocks or the lime, it was covered in white paste for whatever reason, and there was a gold last piece at the top that's been stolen already. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, all of us growing up as kids, history taught us that it was a pyramid built for the tombs of the dead kings and queens, whatever, which it turns out that wasn't even true. There was not one sarcophagus that was in that pyramid. It's like, what the fuck did they build it for if it wasn't to store the dead? And what was it for? And the chambers just go down on each side, and it's like, why? Why would you make it so narrow? And who could have made it that narrow? It would have been impossible. And at the very bottom, there's a lake. There's water there. And then they found these man-made batteries in these clay pots and copper wire. And they have a theory that there's rods sticking out of on the inside, there's these rods. They think those are conductors for copper, and somehow they were able to figure out how to make electricity and provide electricity for everyone living in that surrounding area. And they said Nikola Tesla figured it out. He figured out the fucking formula to conduct that much energy to provide free electricity for everyone.
Well, that
And then when the
ability is true.
big people found out, all of a sudden he fucking dies. And all of a sudden they stole all of Nikola Tesla's journals, probably destroyed it, and it's gone. Nobody's ever seen it, and to this day nobody can figure it out. Not even what's that dude's name? Neil Tyson DeGrasse?
No, deGrasse
That
Tyson.
that dude's IQ it's up there. Him, Tesla, Phil Nye, the science guy, whatever the fuck his name is, those
Oh,
guys
fuck.
can't even figure out what Nikola Tesla did to make that happen.
Did you hear the
big brains.
conspiracy? Did you hear the conspiracy that somehow Trump is somehow related to Nikola Tesla? You guys heard of that?
No, the only conspiracy theory that I read and turned out to be true is the royal family, King Charles, is a descendant from Vlad the Beast of Dracula. It's true, bro. Alex Jones. I was gonna say it, but I don't want to get banned, bro.
Ninja
Those damn
confirmed.
frogs.
Vampires are real.
One theory is
And-
that they built it with a kind of liquid mud. Another theory is that they did it with telekinetic, says Thor. Have you guys ever heard of, a lot of conspiracies are saying that they were built by giants. Have you guys ever heard of the Anunnaki? Thor, have you ever heard of the Anunnaki?
Kind of.
Here, let me ask.
I've heard of giant theory before, but not for pyramids, no.
Anunnaki. Yeah, kind of.
Let me see.
Dude,
Let
even
me
Cat
see.
Williams brushed up on that too.
Oh, yeah. The Anunnaki, okay, so this is what Garak is telling me. The Anunnaki are a group of deities from ancient Mesopotamia mythology, particularly within the Sumerian, Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian cultures. Here is an overview based on historical and mythical context. Etymology and origin. The term Anunnaki, also spelled blah blah blah, comes from Sumerian, where it can be translated as princely offspring or those royal seeds. They are considered descendants of Anu, a sky god, and Ki, and the earth goddess. Let's see, roles and functions. They are often depicted as judges of humanity, deciding the fates of individuals or civilizations. Some texts associate them with the heavens, while others link them to the underworld, acting as judges of the dead. In the Sumerian myth, Enki and the world order, they are described as determining human destinies. They were also seen as gods who helped maintain the cosmic order. Epic of Gilgamesh. Here, 7 Anunnaki is described as judges in the underworld. Let's see, cultural references. Has nothing, I don't see anything regarding their height. But apparently these guys were giants. I remember Darcy always talking about the Anunnaki. And maybe even tied it in with like, what was it in that movie, Moses, with Russell Crowe? I think there were giants. It was during the flood in the Bible, in Genesis, and apparently those were the Anunnaki. But one theory is that these giants are the ones that place these epic boulders, and that's how the pyramids were built. I don't know. Ninja, you good? You're frozen.
Yeah, I'm good.
Your camera's a little frozen. I think it's.
What?
Or maybe
So
she's
wait.
just holding very, very still.
Yeah.
Like a ninja! Let's see, Thor says, yes, I have a heart about giants. I've heard about giants. They found some big bones and why there's so big steps in Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is in Peru, not Mexico. But the thing is, there's pyramids all over the world. I don't believe the pyramids of Giza are the tallest ones, though.
Isn't the one that's supposedly underground in Guatemala is supposed to be bigger? Oh. I saw that
let me
face
ask Rock.
expression.
What's
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
the biggest?
Ask Urban Dictionary. That's right. I swear to God.
I'm asking AI. What's the biggest pyramid on Earth? I don't think it's the Giza pyramids. Okay, the Great Pyramid of Cholula has an estimated volume of 4.5 million cubic meters, making it the largest pyramid by volume. Comparison: it surpasses the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt in terms of volume. Although Giza pyramids is taller, has more familiar pyramid shape. The Pyramid of Cholula, just like the hot sauce guys, is unique because it's
Ooh.
not a single structure, but
Somebody
an
lick it.
accumulation an accumulation of several pyramids built over time, one on the top of the other. This layering effect combined with the broad base contributes to its immense volume. Yeah. The height of it is 217 feet tall, though today it's less due to erosion and vegetation. Bro, apparently pyramids, the pyramids, let's see. There's actually conspiracies of apparently where these point, they point exactly at certain stars or certain, the pyramids in Egypt and the pyramids in Mexico, they're all interconnected as some sort of fucking portals or some shit. That sounds wacky as far, but
I don't know. Well, was I still answering your question before I froze? Was it about giants or something?
yeah, the Anunnaki.
Oh, yeah. Again, there are stories with my people about giants. They talk about the giants. My brain is flipping foggy right now. That there was one giant that would eat our people. They were just attacking them. And it took White Shell Woman or Changing Woman gave birth to two twins. And the two twins were guided by, I believe I think it was the horned toad or a deity that was telling them how to kill. So once they grew up, they went out and killed the giant, and they talk about, I think it was a sling. And I thought, ooh, that sounds biblical. And then in our stories, we talk about we're in the fourth world. You got the first world, the second world, the third world, and the fourth world. And each one of those worlds, it ended, but a certain catastrophe had to happen in order for us to go into the next world. So the last one, they talk about it being a flood. And then before that, the world was black. Everything was on fire, but it went black. It was full of smoke. And then I got to brush up on my fucking stories. But it's interesting how I have friends that are religious, and they talk about the Great Flood, Noah's Ark. And I said, I swear to God, our stories talk about that too. They talk about the Great Flood and how our people came from a different continent because this man showed sympathy for, I think it was a woman or a man who was blind in the streets. And then he foresaw that this event was going to happen, a big flood, disaster, whatever. And all he did was touch her or him, and they could see again. And he told them to get your people and go get on this structure and you'll be safe. You need to go now. So they took whatever they had, they went over on the boat, and they talk about a huge structure, and it took them before the flood happened. And that's how we ended up here in, I guess you could say, North America. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, gets kind of crazy about that. My mom was telling me that there's a story about that, about a certain man that could heal people, and they healed a woman because she couldn't see, and he felt bad for her because she needed to seek shelter or be safe. So to prove that he could do what he was doing, all he did was touch her, and she could see. Like, whoa!
It's like the stories of Jesus, man.
I know, isn't that crazy? And I remember Cat Williams was talking about,
most of them are.
And I remember Cat Williams was talking about those pyramids, and he was the one that brought up, and it made my mind go when he said that it's like, if these people were so great, or maybe they didn't know anything, why on earth would you build a structure like that, of all place, in a freaking desert? Why on sand?
Well, I don't think it was all sand back in the day.
Yeah, but when you
my
think
question,
about it back then, it was probably different. What was that? Oh, anyways.
do you think the pyramids of Giza, the Egyptian, do you think they're just periods to their tombs, or do you think that there's something mystical about them and right now we don't understand it?
Dude, I think there was something mystical about them. I think they were guided, or there had to be another fucking thing that was with them at that time period, just coaching them, taking them through whatever. And for whatever reason, they fucked up. I think they probably broke like a rule, like, okay, we'll teach you this, but whatever you do, don't use it for bad. And what did they do? They did all this dirty shit, and that's probably why they all got wiped out. And humanity had to start all over again. Man, the Sumerian thing, that rabbit hole is crazy too.
Logan, do you think they're just there for show, or do you think there's something else?
There's got to be something else. I mean, again, turning towards what I've seen on Ancient Aliens and Ninja bringing up the batteries, like, I believe they were a power source. I mean, it's hard to dispute that they weren't. Like, essentially, what I think that it was in their time was that was their, oh god, what are they called? Ninja's parents worked at one. I keep wanting to say electrical factory, but yeah, I think that was their version of a power plant. I mean, like, with the tunnels and like and copper and things like that. Like, I can see, like how it would have been a power plant. I mean, they already had a slight technology of batteries and somewhat understanding of electricity. So why not? I mean, it's too crazily similar to certain things that we have now with modern technology to really just be like, oh yeah, they just wanted to bury their dead in it and like make a huge monument for so that they'll be remembered. Maybe it was both. Why couldn't it have been both? I mean, their resources were pretty limited, so I mean, they just combined and made do. And along with Ninja's theory of they fucked up and broke a rule. Like, look at what happens in modern days, and people get power, and they get close to people with power. They start to abuse it, and they didn't like that. Makes sense to me.